Now that we've discussed the benefits of Kubernetes, it's time that we start to focus on why we may consider EKS. In this quick presentation, we're going to discover the benefits of Amazon EKS. Amazon EKS is a managed service, meaning it's going to manage components of the Kubernetes environment for you. Just how much of that management is going to take place, I'll demonstrate in another area. Not only is it a managed service, but it's also taking it one step down to containers as a service. As a service is a very common thing you'll hear. It's abbreviated AAS. It could be platform, infrastructure, code, anything can be run as a service, meaning it's not something you have to manage internally to your own teams. In this case, we're discussing containers as a service. You may recall this image. In this case, we're looking at standard container operations. We can see the actual infrastructure, and on top of the infrastructure, aka the systems, we're running an operating system. Most commonly, that's going to be something like Linux. Within that Linux environment, we're going to be also using a container engine of some sort. This could be Docker, this could be Kubernetes, this could be any number of things that are going to manage your containers. And then on top of that, we have the actual bin and libs that are running to make sure your containers can operate. Each of these are responsible for managing an app. Now, when we're using a traditional setup, we may have to manage the infrastructure, the operating system, the engine, and the applications. As if we move into, say, something like Amazon ECS, that removes the need to manage the infrastructure, but we may have to manage the operating system, or Amazon AMIs, the container engine, and the application. EKS does most of this management for us. We no longer have to manage the actual infrastructure, the operating system, or even the container engine. All we need to do is provide the actual container code. There's no setup required, and Amazon is going to manage the control plane as well as manage the worker nodes for us. This is going to allow us to get up and running very, very quickly without having to manage the finer and more granular details of the Kubernetes engine. All we have to do is care about the containers. Another major benefit is the fact that it's going to scale natively throughout AWS Availability Zones. This is not something we need to consider when we're managing it ourselves. They also will manage health checks and replace systems as they become unhealthy for us. There's no need for us to rebuild our Kubernetes infrastructure because that's being done dynamically by Amazon. And then we can leverage the EKS CTL, which is an open source tool, to automate the creation of clusters within minutes. There's no need for us to install the overhead of the Kubernetes engine or, of course, manage the actual operating system itself. Now, the one other major benefit of Amazon EKS is that we can natively integrate with other Amazon tools. As we can see on the right, as of May 2020, this is the list of tools available to us within Amazon. There are some key items that are specifically relevant to the actual container environment. Amazon has a service called CloudTrail. CloudTrail is a very robust logging mechanism that logs any and all Amazon API calls. This service provides us tons and tons of visibility within our Amazon environment. Our container EKS managed service is no different. It can leverage CloudTrail to validate all access to our APIs within our Kubernetes environment. And then there's AWS App Mesh. It's a standardized microservice communication framework. So if you leverage the AWS App Mesh, you can leverage their standard microservices communications. This empowers our EKS environment to integrate natively with more Amazon services in a standard format. And then, of course, there's the integration to AWS IAM, Identity and Access Management. This will handle role-based communications across our environment, providing you robust and detailed overviews as to who can access what within your container environment. And if we need to do load balancing outside of our containers as well, we can leverage the elastic load balancers in Amazon. These are available to distribute workloads beyond just cluster load balancing. So if you need to load balance across clusters or even beyond Kubernetes environments, you can do that using elastic load balancers. There's no limits to the services that Amazon provides natively, and a major benefit of EKS is having access to Amazon's robust tool set. And that's just some of the initial benefits of our EKS deployment. Thank you so much for taking time with me this lecture, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.